Hello and what is up YouTube? My name is G3Iron and today we just got the development manifesto on Delirium improvements. So let's take a jump in and see what GGG has to say about the opening weekend and about what sort of upcoming improvements, if any changes, are going to be coming to Delirium. So this is the first time I've watched it, so you'll be getting live reactions from me. I'm looking forward to reading your live reactions down below, so make sure you leave us a comment for posterity to know exactly what your thoughts were on the Delirium Improvements Manifesto. First off, thanks so much for your valuable feedback since launch. In this manifesto, we'd like to summarize the changes that we plan to make in the near future. Note that these are still in early discussion and haven't been implemented or tested yet, so the plans may change over the next few days. For speed, we'll likely apply these types of changes in patches, plural, as soon as they're ready, rather than delaying them to be deployed all at once. Okay, so there's going to be multiple patches over the next upcoming days. Delirium monster damage. As you travel deeper into the mist, the life, damage, and rewards from monsters becomes higher. Players have commented they feel that monsters become too dangerous deep in the encounters. The monster's damage bonus scales up to 30% increased at absolute most. We are reviewing all of the Delirium monsters and skills to find any that are overtuned, and we'll be making adjustments to any that might be dealing disproportionate damage. 30% increased. Okay. Rewards bar. When you touch the Mirror of Delirium, a random reward type is chosen for the encounter. When you kill a certain number of monsters, you earn an additional instance of that reward type that drops when the encounter finishes. Currently, the rate at which that reward bar fills up is not proportional to the depth of the monsters you are fighting. Monsters deeper in the midst do not fill it up faster. That's kind of a bummer, fellas. We felt this was appropriate for release because the other rewards that the League grants, such as Cluster Jewels, Delirium Orbs, Splinters, and the extremely high quantity rarity bonus, do all encourage you to kill as many monsters as possible, which promise clearing as deep as you can. Yeah, but that's clearing sideways, not clearing deep. We were considering having the reward bar fill more quickly as you kill deeper monsters, but didn't have the change ready in time for the launch. We plan to make this change in the near future. Okay, so literally if we're going from a risk-reward design perspective, then there's no reward for pushing further, right? That's what that sentence just says. That there was no incentive for... So monsters scale up to 30% increased damage, but they don't scale with, the additional rewards. So what's the point of killing stuff deeper? The only point is to rush and kill the boss to drop boss drops. That's it. Okay. At the time of publishing, we just found an issue where in many cases Delirium monsters and spawners do not appear when extremely deep in the midst. Oh, so that's why sometimes we're just randomly dying to invisible monsters, because they're actually legitimately invisible. Okay. Man, I'm glad I did not play hardcore this league. I feel bad for anybody who did. That's genuinely frustrating. Paralyzing, wasting, eroding, diluting touch debuffs. We are reducing the lengths of these debuffs so that they are substantially shorter, which will greatly reduce the quantity that accumulates on you. This change is likely to be in today's 3.10.0.c patch. Yeah, I mean, I've already worked my way around this. I'm playing a melee Cyclone build, so I'm just using Comb's Roots, which, hey, movement speed can't be slowed beyond your base, so that's nice, but these debuffs are some legit debuffs, and not just the movement speed ones as well. The life regen ones are just absolutely atrocious, and destroy builds that require leech and life recovery, like any melee build, or Righteous Fire, for instance. Monster on death effects. Currently there's a random chance for individual Delirium monsters to have mods that cause on death effects. Okay, so they're random. So we don't even get to see. It's not like a rare monster that you can see what mods are on it that says, hey, this monster has a volatile dead. Or it's not a visual cue that just, hey, this monster that looks this way is going to cast an on-death effect. No, it's just randomly chosen. That makes it really, really deadly, because at any point in time, anything that you kill could just have an on-death effect. We are internally experimenting with moving these to pack size so that there's more variance in when you encounter them, rebalancing them around this, and improving how they are signaled. Throughout the game, we're told, like, rare and magic monsters, we're told exactly what they have. Volatile Dead, or the Lightning Warp guys, or the Exploding Corpses, or Detonates Dead. Like, we have visual ways of doing this in the game. Why are we reinventing the wheel here? This all kind of feels weird, this whole release. For those interested in why we use on-death effects in content like this, it's because they are a viable way of making monsters that are killed instantly have an effect on players, and they aren't trivialized by clear speed. Few to no other mods we can put on these other monsters make any difference normally because they are eradicated by powerful builds in seconds. We are going to be toning these down either way. Okay, so the top-end clear speed builds that blow up everything are just ruining it for everybody. Right? Is that the hottest take possible? Like, some people going super duper fast and just clearing the screen for everybody means that every single other build is getting essentially content and monsters built around those top-end builds. Interesting. Delirium alongside previous content. Delirium increases the difficulty and reward of all other Path of Exile content. However, players have reported that it doesn't feel worthwhile to run past content under the effects of Delirium because you lose precious time dealing with that content's overheads. We plan to add bonus time to the Delirium event when you trigger past content in order to make up for this. That's nice. The amount of bonus time will vary from content to content to make it fair. I mean, for instance, like Blight, when you interact with Cassia, sometimes you've got, like 18 to 20 seconds to get your towers set up. So, granted, not everybody uses the full amount of time to set up all their towers, and most often than not, especially when you're in low-level zones, you're just going to click the speed up button to get monsters to come out faster. But even still, it's a couple of clicks. I've noticed when I'm interacting with Tane on Metamorph, for instance, like interacting with him and then selecting the organs that you want to input while there is delirium fog going over, it just really slows you down and you're going to lose your fog more often than not, even while you're killing the Metamorph. Delirium item drop vacuuming. We totally understand the feedback that Delirium makes you want to go fast and not pick up items, requiring you to then backtrack to grab anything decent that dropped. There have been requests to accumulate all items that would drop and instead drop them at the end of the encounter. This is not how we want the game to be played. Okay. I mean, that's fair. That's how Delve works. That's how Incursion works. So that's fair. If you want to say that's not how you want the game to be played, there's already sections of the game that are playing that way. So just be aware of that. We have only done it in the past when it would have been impossible to access the items afterwards if they're in an Incursion area or in the darkness during the Delve. Okay, so they just use those two examples. While it's tempting to take every opportunity to vacuum up all the items that drop and present them to you in one go, that is not how the core gameplay loop of action RPG should function. In addition, even if we wanted to, it's not really even practical to vacuum an entire map worth of items and drop them in one place. I feel like that's fair. It's fair to say, hey, we physically can't do that with that amount of loot. It's going to cause more crashes. I feel like that's fair. There can be a happy medium here, right? We've shown that we've got the technology to move incursion drops. We've shown that we've got the technology to move delve drops. Is there any way to make it so that way there's maybe like, I don't even know, like a gap or an intermission in the fog? Like something, like maybe when a unique or I don't know what they're called, like a mini boss from Delirium, when they appear, if you kill that one, then loot will drop there. I don't know, that there's gathering places for loot to pop out at. I don't know. I just feel like it's really, really punishing right now. Maybe the extended timer will solve all of this. During our internal testing before release, we increased the length of time that Delirium encounters last so that players have extra time to pick up items as they go. Item filters help alert you to which items are important to grab, and we did intentionally compensate with extra time for you to do so. Wait, so during internal testing, you had a longer period of time and then you decided to shorten it. Why? I mean, maybe the longer period of time was too long. So maybe that's why. If you guys had longer times to test, are we reverting back to those longer times now with the upcoming changes that we're implementing with more time on the clock? I've got a lot of questions. Depth meter. Because the distance from the start of the encounter matters quite a lot for both the relative difficulty of the monsters, chance that additional mods are spawned, and the level of increased item drops and rarity that you receive, we are considering adding an indicator that the user interface which shows the relative difficulty. This might be in the form of a number next to the reward bar that shows the rate at which they're increased by. Hey, that would be great, right? That would give us a positive, tangible way of actually knowing, hey, things are getting harder and therefore they're also getting more rewarding, or things are getting harder and you might not want to push it so far. Like, that's excellent. Excellent opportunity to improve Delirium quality of life. Performance. It looks like we broke something with 3.10.0. We don't know what it is yet, but we are investigating and we'll fix it. Is this Betrayal all over again? Betrayal launch, like, something was broken in Betrayal. I don't remember what it was, but it was broken the entirety of Betrayal and half of Synthesis. I think a lot of people's opinions about performance during Synthesis League has actually been formed because of, like, Betrayal problems and Betrayal introduction. But hopefully that doesn't persist, and hopefully they find whatever it is and fix it soon. This is a high priority, and we're really sorry that it was released like that. We were unaware of the issue from our internal testing, but quickly became aware of it upon launch. Annoyingly, it affects some computers' users a lot more than others. We now have a couple of computers in the office that reliably reproduce problems, so we're using those to debug it. Okay, that's good news. So they're actually testing on machines that are showing that things are bugged. That's good. Visibility. We have various ideas to improve visibility, such as investigating improving color grading. That would be nice. If there's a way to make it so that way, like, the fog got darker, like, what if the UI feedback that things are getting more dangerous and that things are also getting more rewarding? What if the fog gets thicker? Or what if the monster pack density gets more, right? Instead of, mobs of 3 guys, it's mobs of 4 guys, and then mobs of 5 guys. I'm not sure what it is, but something visual that will tell us as you're going deeper, this is either A, the right direction, or B, also, this is more rewarding, and C, this is also more dangerous. Like, that gives you some sense of, hey, I can't see any of the deadly stuff that's flying around me, but I know I'm at least taking that risk, right? That gives us as players, again, some agency, some choice. Like, hey, I can't see anything. I don't want to push that far to the point where I can't see anything. Hey, this is getting too risky for my build, and the visual indicators are telling me it's getting too risky for my build. Like, that's all really, really helpful. Adding clearer effects to monsters with mods, improving skill effects, and so on. We don't know exactly which set of these experiments will be deployed yet, but we do want to make it easier to see what's going on. Hey, that's great. We all want that. I expect to see some improvements soon. Make the End Delirium button bindable. Absolutely. You'll be able to turn it on and choose a key to bind it in the options. Hey, that's great. So now you won't have to, like, always move your mouse over, like, frantically, like, wait, I'm supposed to be shield charging or flame dashing or lightning warping somewhere. I need to click over here. And then you go to click and you misclick and then you accidentally walk into a pack and die. All right, summary, too long, didn't read. Monster damage, nerfing on a case-by-case basis, adjusting the on-death effects and improving visuals. Rewards, monsters deeper in the midst will count more for progress on the encounter reward bar. On-hit debuffs, substantially reduced duration. On-death effects, investigating packs or pack-based mods instead of individual, balancing to be in line with this, improving telegraphing, past content in Delirium, adding time to the Delirium encounter when interacting with these past encounters, item drop vacuuming, no, sorry, depth meter, investigating a way to do this, performance, yes, is being investigated, but we're not sure yet what is causing the recent regression, visibility, yes, we're working on improving this, make End Delirium button bindable, yes. This is the set of Delirium changes that we are currently working on, and we're very eager to see what you think once they have been deployed. It's worth noting that this manifesto only outlines the changes that we're making to Delirium content. We're aware of bugs separate to these issues that need fixing. Thanks very much for your great feedback and patience as we continue to work on these changes. All right, so that's the development manifesto for Delirium. I like it. I like that they're communicating with us. I always say this whenever GGG comes out and says anything, even if I disagree with their take on how the game needs to be shaped or exactly what direction the game needs to go. I'm always appreciative that Grinding Gear Games comes out and communicates with us as a player base, even when they tell us no, right? I'm a parent of 3 kids, have a 4th one on the way coming in July. I get the need to sometimes say, no, this isn't good for you, right? I say that all the time to my kids. I say it to my fellow employees. I say it to my subordinates. Sometimes I say it to my boss at work. no, this wouldn't actually be what's best. And so I get it. If Grinding Gear Games is saying, nope, we're not making this decision, that's fine. So if they want to say no to vacuuming, I get it. If they want to say yes to other things, even if I disagree with them, I get it. There are times where disagreements can be fine, and the way how we go about voicing those disagreements are important. So I feel like as a community, it's good for us to voice our opinion. It's important for us to give feedback as customers and as consumers, especially in a business, in a games as a service model where we constantly need to give feedback on constant new content that comes out. So I feel like there's an opportunity here for all of us, whether that's in our comments on YouTube, whether that's in our comments in Twitch chat or in Reddit, or on the forums. There's a real opportunity here for us as players to let Grinding Gear Games know, hey, this is what we appreciate about Delirium. This is what we like philosophically about Delirium. And here's how we'd like those things philosophically and the implementation to change or to be adjusted based on our needs as a community. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. Thanks so much for reading the Development Manifesto Delirium Improvements along with me. And I hope today is the day a Mirror of Calandra drops for you.
Thanks for watching that video. If you'd like more information on any of our discussion points today, you can see them down below in the video description. If you'd also like to join our Discord or support our Patreon, you can do so with the links down below. Thanks again, and big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters.